Hello family, I hope you're all well and that you're striving and thriving on all the things you're setting your intentions on. I'm here to share another one of my insights that my experience of life has taught me. I hope it's of use to some of you out there. If it is, please like, subscribe, share my humble words with anyone that it might be of use to. So today I'm going to be talking about why it's important for us as individuals when we're in a relationship or in friendships to ensure that our intentions and hopes are being met at all times. This can go either way, so it's not a case of me being partisan to the female gender. No, it's everyone's duty to look out for their own interest. Because alternatively, if you take the selfless route, all you're setting yourself up for is a life of sadness, unfulfilled outcomes, and basically, a whole heap of questioning and why is this going this way? Am I going crazy? Is it just me? No, to eliminate all of that, it's really necessary to have equal give and take in any relationship. Now let's elaborate on this. Give and take is something that is inherent and necessary in any relationship you have. It could be a romantic partner, it could be a close friendship, it could even be with your children. It's something that makes a difference in how we relate to each other and can impact the balance of the relationship. And once it's in balance, issue starts to arise basically. Often enough, one of the partners is going to feel a bit disgruntled, not heard, not seen. And they might even go as far as to say, God, I'm not even getting a lot out of this. What's this all about? But I guess what I'm referring to when you're in a relationship between two friends or a romantic relationship where one person gives more emotionally or romantically. So you start to feel depleted. And you start to feel like your cup needs to be filled. You voice it to the parties involved. There's not very much coming back. Or they're justifying why they're not even contributing as much. Really trying to fight for their shortcomings. The fact is, nothing goes unnoticed on the universal plane. And there's a great reason for that. Everything has its polar opposite, as you know, be it good, bad, happy, sad, positive, negative, the same with give and take. So to keep everything balanced, everything has to be operating from a place of push and pull, where possible, equal give and take. It's only a matter of time before it really takes a strain on any relationship, but if you have the fortitude to nip it in the bud quite early, everything can carry on all swimmingly and harmony can be restored. Let me give you an example. Just imagine Nana and Emmanuel have been in a long-term relationship. They've been in a relationship for 5 years. They both work. And they've both adopted some gender roles, which they seem to be happy with. Emmanuel has a more relaxed approach about things, but Nana seems to be more agenda-driven. She has a lot of commitments, she likes to go out, meet up with family and friends, and always expects Emmanuel to be available to accompany her. Emmanuel, being a very accommodating kind of guy, always agrees to do this, even at the times when he doesn't feel like it. Say on one occasion he decides to stay at home, spend time with his family, as opposed to going with Nana to a family event. He expresses this and she just goes into one. Oh, can't cancel. You can meet your brother anytime. This is important to me. And takes this decision really personal and like a real slight on her. The guilt trip really gets laid on heavy and she goes quiet, and he always knows what that means. That's equivalent to a week of the silent treatment. So he changes his plan, and old Nana is happy and joyous again. But now Emmanuel doesn't feel too happy. He just keeps recalling in his head a recent occasion when he asked her to come out and spend some time with his family. And of course, Nana came up with an excuse, declined, and said, "Oh, I've got a headache." So you can see where the lack and give and take is, right? I hope you can. I'm sure somebody out there would make an excuse for Nana. But just for all intent and purposes, Nana's a selfish cow. Some might just say, why doesn't Emmanuel just grow a pair? But this is the issues you have with relationships that don't have equal give and take. One party tends to be self-sacrificing and doesn't always have the awareness that by having not put themselves first, they're setting themselves up for failure on many levels and for a long duration. You might be just thinking you're just trying to keep the peace. But these are a few of the things that you can be doing that will go against you in the long run. Self-sacrificing. On the surface, it may seem all noble and godly, but all it really is a behavior pattern that's rooted in codependency. The reason why most people do this is because they don't want to hurt other people's feelings, or they don't necessarily like the fact that their actions are going to elicit repercussions, or they maybe just have a fear of confrontation. So it's easier just to agree. Not having the ability to say no to the things you don't particularly like, or putting up with things people say and do that you don't like, is also being compliant in other people's selfish behaviour, and gives them the green light to continue as they are, and not to sort of be introspective of their actions, because there's never ever consequences. It'll simply allow them to keep emotionally taking, which of course causes imbalance. One person should never be the giver and one shouldn't be the taker. It's not healthy. I mean, the giver doesn't get off scot-free. As the giver, they probably don't realise that that is also a form of self-deprivation. You as the giver may not even realise it, but your ism might just simply be you have an inability to receive. Therefore, you choose the role to be the dependable one that everyone relies on time and time again. Therefore, you don't get anything back. Or you might have a deep-rooted belief that you're not deserving of anything. So you pick situations that give you very little in return. There's a lot of downsides to this. You may find you suffer from energy depletion a lot and feel weighed down, even when you haven't even been exercising or doing anything too physical. I call them energy vampires. Whilst they remain charged energetically and physically, they use you and anyone else to feed off. You, on the other hand, are left feeling depleted. You as the giver are always going to allow your energy to be drained and self-sacrifice your own needs. It's not a great look, to be quite honest. You may be worried that you might be met with resistance if you try to pull your energy back. You don't have to necessarily always do what you always do once you become aware of this. Now let's try and get some solutions for this ominous situation. And I say ominous because when you're in this situation, you often don't even realise that there's issues going on until you feel that physical manifestation of that drain. You still might not even be able to put your finger on why you still feel this way. But in my opinion, the key to solving this problem is to really learn to be in tune to who you are, what makes you happy. To really stay alert to the red flags that you're experiencing. Try to find ways to re-energize yourself. This is so important for anyone that is feeling out of balance and out of sync. You have to try and make sure you fill your own cup as many times and as much as you can by doing all the things you enjoy, no matter how small your needs are. Catalogue it, that's another way of doing it. Write a journal. This is such a self-affirming task that will help you to see on paper what you need in order to feel your best. You may even want to take it a bit further and just write what you'd want from your person or others to maintain your best self. It will bring you closer to knowing and familiarizing yourself with you. It's so great. Try to do one thing for yourself that is solely for you, just to recharge your batteries. Any way that you feel fit. I tend to listen to music that uplifts my spirit. I dance with my headphones, as if I'm back in Studio 54 or something. Or partake in activities and exercises that keep your mind balanced, such as meditation, affirmations, breathing exercises. All of that adds to your cup. Have a weekly candlelit salt bath, if you can. That takes away a lot of stress that you might be holding in your body. It's such a wonderful way to pamper yourself. Treat yourself to lunch. Buy yourself flowers if your partner doesn't have the inclination to do so. But most importantly, don't bury your head under the sand or in the sand. That is by far the self-deprivating thing you can do, and all it will do is breed resentment, anger, discontentment, contempt. I can go on. I've been there, trust me. Once you recognize something isn't to your taste, it's your duty to talk about it, resolve it, bring it to the surface so you can move on to better and more important things, like being your ultimate fabulous self. You've got to have a conversation with the other person or the people that are involved. Often we second guess ourselves and rationalize issues in our heads, so that we can avoid confrontation. Sometimes we don't even know whether it's real. But all we're doing is putting off the inevitable. If something means enough to you, it will keep resurfacing and resurfacing until it is resolved and dissolved. The key is to speak from a place of love and a place of truth. Your truth. Share your feelings and be vulnerable with how you're feeling. There's no need for martyrism. How you feel is valid and it needs to be taken into consideration. Try to keep the conversation balanced by trying to say something positive about the person too. If you're met with resistance and people that just want to defend their actions and only want to see their own point of view, or just determined to change your viewpoint, you should take heed of that. That is a red flag. People that are not happy until they've changed your point of view can be verging on narcissism. Stubbornness is not a good sign, and I encourage you to measure how important the issues are to you before deciding on a plan of action. If the issues are superficial and not, make or break worthy, come to a mutual understanding. However, if you're talking about life-changing issues, I suggest you really go within and ask yourself those really important questions. You have to really know why you're remaining in a place where you're not being heard, seen, or if the person never tries to change their ways. You have to ask yourself, would that be okay if nothing changes? It's all very important. But of course, if it's just a very small issue, confront it and deal with it and move on. If you're on the other side of the coin and you're the one that's being accused of not giving enough, be an active listener. give the other person the chance to express and talk their truth without interrupting. You have to be self-aware. If you're unsure with yourself and you truly aren't sure if you're playing a part and putting enough effort, just take a step back and think about it and actually consider, is there any area where you're not putting enough? Be objective. A relationship where one partner feels they are not being heard or seen, or they're the one that's always giving or makes all the effort, and the other person refuses to provide the same amount of effort, it's misbalanced and really is unfulfilling in the long run. Nobody's going to want to be part of that for too long. Therefore, when you recognize that, you're not feeling fulfilled, or somebody has voiced to you that they're not feeling fulfilled, don't go into defense mode and just be like, oh, that don't make no progress. Or try to beat the other person down to submission with reasons why you don't agree with them. It's not progressive. If it's their truth, you have to respect it. Change is possible. We all have to be aware. If you both want the same outcome, you both can get to the same place. It's just a question of how much everyone is prepared to put in. If you know in your heart of hearts that you cannot reach that place and you can't give what your partner is requesting, that's also very necessary for you to be honest with. Because the fact is, if you say, yeah, I'm going to do it, and you don't put the effort in, you're going to have a little peaceful time for a little while, and of course the issues are going to arise again. And they'll keep arising until they have been dealt with, integrated, and become non-existent. So, the choice is really all of ours. Do we want to keep seeing the same things manifesting? Do we want progress, or do we just want to stay stuck? Yeah, obviously if it's not in our awareness, there's not much we can do, but if it comes into our awareness through somebody verbalizing it or through our own observations, it's our duty, as when we're friends or in a partnership, to respect the other and also take them into consideration. Okay, sorry, I'm going to leave that one there. I just had a bit of in my throat. Oh no, I'm not going to say that. So anyway, I hope it was useful to some. If it was, you know the drill. Please like, please share, and of course subscribe. And if you want to talk about it, discuss it any further, please leave a comment in the comment section. So on that note, later.